Hey, so you're over here. We're back in Undying. Fortunately, last time I forgot to save, so I just had to play back up to that part, and I got hit one more time than before. Let's get out of it before I get hit with copyright again.
Stuck.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Apparently that song was redone in 2009, and they uploaded their music to YouTube, so people... so I get hit with a copyright thing if it's up there. Yeah, actually we were right past this part, weren't we? Oh well. This is a cinematic again.
Those beasts were after me!
What in God's name were those things?
They're called howlers. And while I've never seen one before tonight, I've heard of them for years.
Those weren't natural, my friend. We're fighting more than superstitions here.
Perhaps I was being naive not to tell you, but there might be something more sinister at work here. When I was a boy, I encountered something I can't quite explain. You see, there was this isle of standing stones that sits just off the estate. Someone had carved a sigil into each of the stones, something indiscernible. Father had many books on the occult, one of which contained a sketch of that very symbol. I took my brothers and sisters out to the island and read from my father's book.
Well, what happened?
It's a great idea.
Something answered. The ocean began to boil, and a great wind whipped against us as we stood in the circle, and my siblings huddled to the ground in fear. Eventually, the wind died, and the sea settled. Patrick, I know it sounds like the ravings of a dying man, but I believe those standing stones had something to do with this. What has once been a taint upon this family has now begun to manifest itself.
But you told me you're dying. Doesn't this curse end with you?
Who knows? My brothers and sisters are dead, but I don't think they're really gone. I've heard some servants whispering. They think they've seen Lizbeth on the estate. My family has come for me. I sense them, Patrick. By now, you and I know the supernatural exists. You saw the howlers. And what about our encounters with the Tersante during the war? You still even carry the Gelzebah stone with you.
It's a token of the shaman's life I took. That's all.
I found a scroll with a picture of the Gelzebah on it. I believe it contains the way to awaken the stone's dormant power.
Very well.
Is that a good idea?
Let me study this scroll overnight, and I'll see what I can do in the morning.
This house still hides many secrets. I'm counting on you to reveal them and put an end to this mess.
He's talking about this scroll. Alright. So, that gave us a new spell. And look what I figured out how to do. Ta-da! This is the journal! This has a lot of really cool stuff in it. For instance, the scroll we just got is ectoplasm. This is a really cool spell. The scroll Jeremiah gave me has revealed a powerful spell. It seems that with proper concentration and focus of my mana, I am able to release ethereal bolts of ectoplasm from my hand. Unreliable at far range, the mystical damage seems quite effective in close quarters. Key for Patrick Alway. This is like a machine gun mana spell. It's really cool. Now these are, so we go all the way back to the beginning. This is Scry. I'm not going to read all of this because I don't think you guys would want that. It'd take forever. But it's a really cool story. If you want to pause and read that, I hope you can read that. A spell that allows me to see and hear past events from the geographic location in which I happen to be standing. It also casts an ethereal light on enemies and darker areas, giving me the ability to see my foes as well as find my way. I must be careful in its use, as it has no offensive power, and it seems to drain my energies for short durations. But it does cost a lot of mana to use it, but your mana does come back pretty quickly. Learned men have stated that they believe that man has yet to unlock the full potential of the mind. While traveling to the Orient after the war, I met up with a local seer who told me that I was one of the chosen few, one of only a handful of individuals that he had ever met that had this ability. He called it scrying, to be able to read portions of the past. Most of the people who possess this power, he said, over the course of their lives eventually fell into disability, mind tired from the barrage of images and sounds that could be heard from both the past and the present, the real and unreal. I know I have the ability to describe because of the subtle words I hear calling within me at times, begging me to look deeper into the past, deeper at what actually isn't even in front of me. But I am truly wondering if this is the gift I dreamed of, or a sick curse placed on me by an outside force. This is a revolver. From scry to revolver. Awesome. My trusty revolver, a 6-shot weapon of forged metal grace, durable yet lightweight. Our military peace has seen many a country and spilled much blood over the years. The Gelzibar stone. I have carried this artifact ever since the day Jeremiah gave it to me following the battle with the Trisanti. It seems to throw out a shockwave of considerable force, and ever since I acquired the stone, I have noticed strange sightings and visual anomalies. The shockwave from the stone I can cast, it just pushes back enemies, it doesn't do any damage. But it is an AoE pushback, so that's kind of nice. The strange sightings is, if you're near something that you can scry, it will glow, so that's neat. However, the power of the stone has its dark side. On occasion, a beast from beyond the world has attacked me. My only explanation for its appearance is that I was using the stone's power for too long. I have not seen the beast for a while, of course. I have not needed the stone. I don't remember if I ever encountered this because I don't use the stone very much when I played the first time. But I do know that it increases the power of your spells by 1 rank while you have the stone out. And that I think it also makes you take more damage from spells or from monsters. I'm not sure. Not positive on that one. I just know the positive parts. Remembrances. Oh boy, this is long. Each time my past fades from memory, fate has a terrible habit of reawakening me. Most often, the unpleasant name Otto Kissinger is the vehicle of remembrance, but not today. My old friend and commanding officer in the Great War, Jeremiah Covenant, has sent word. It's been years since I have heard from him. His letter came whilst I was away, sitting unopened for nearly 6 months. My joy at reading his name was quickly replaced by sorrow, then by fear. Jeremiah has fallen ill, and requires my assistance at his estate in Ireland. I have not set foot on Irish soil since poor Gwendolyn's death, and did not think anything could make me return. Could I have been responsible for her death? Being legally exiled from my homeland was painful, but nothing in comparison to my memories. How did she end up on the floor? How could so much blood come without a sound? How was that knife in my hand, and why was Kissinger suddenly nowhere to be found? But Jeremiah saved my life, and I cannot deny any request he would make. The necessity of my presence is somewhat vague, as his letter at times was incoherent. His speaks of his sickness as a family illness no medicine can cure. Regardless, I will go to my friend. I have booked passage on a steam liner leaving tomorrow, arriving in 4 days' time. I hope I am not recognized by the authorities. I hope I am not too late. Jeremiah's conversation. I have arrived in time, apparently just in time. Completely bedridden, Jeremiah is a shadow of his old self, appearing many pounds and a few shades lighter. His explanation for calling to me is still unclear. He speaks of strange happenings around the estate, problems that he is unable to rectify in his weakened state, and has requested that I investigate. I, of course, agreed. Before I could ponder whether to bring my exploration, or where to bring my exploration, the servant who showed me to Jeremiah's room screamed from downstairs. Often, where to begin is the most difficult step. The last one for right now. Jeremiah's disclosure. A piece to the puzzle. The scream downstairs was the result of an attack by a beast, something Jeremiah calls a howler. Similar to a dog, the animal was pale in complexion, had claws as long as my arms, and could leap several meters from a dead stop. I killed the fiend, but before I could thoroughly inspect the corpse, it vanished without a trace. Upon questioning Jeremiah, I'm a little more unnerved than I was after seeing the Howler. He told a story involving his brothers and sisters, an isle of standing stones, and a sorcery book of his late father's. Apparently the Covenant children, led by Jeremiah, went to the island and read from his strange book. He maintains it was simply a prank to scare his kin. He believes something from within the ring of stones answered back, raging the sea, angering the wind, and shaking the earth. Since that time, Jeremiah has been visited by terrible misfortune. All his brothers and sisters have passed away. I recall one late night in a foxhole, Jeremiah showed me a picture of the youngest sister, Lizbeth. No more than a teenager, she was so striking I found it hard to concentrate on his descriptions of the others. Anyway, Jeremiah is not completely convinced they are indeed dead. Well, to be precise, he's not sure they have remained dead. I suspect they are delusions brought on by his memory of that day at the stones. Otherwise, I can only imagine this is a terrible prank played upon a dying man. But if they are only delusions, why not inform me of them when he first spoke? Why would he not write me as such in his letter? Perhaps he did not think I would come. So that says a lot right there. Well, for one thing, I'm confused. He doesn't do this for most of the missives, but he's like, oh, these are probably, fantasy, and he just literally just described howlers. Like, okay, you just saw monsters, and you're like, oh, there's no chance whatsoever that his family came back from the dead. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, that's enough of this. I think his objectives. Investigate the Covenant family curse. Uh-oh. Pebbles is startled. Oh, Pebbles, not right now. Ah, so where are we? Some bullets. Is it necessary to jump on that table to get the bullets? I believe so. So I think there's a way to holster my weapon. Is it H? It doesn't really matter, I guess. I also reload. I forget which button that is. That's inventory. I gotta remember not to turn too fast. You guys will freak out. I freak out sometimes. Turning in this game is really easy. That's like barely moving the mouse.
Have you noticed anything strange going on?
Apparently, Lizbeth's room was broken into last night during the commotion.
Where's her room?
Just down the hall from here. It's quite a mess.
Yeah, it's over here.
Jammed.
Is there anything else? All the rest of these doors are locked. This is the hub. Or one of the main hubs.
Tell me what you know about Lizbeth.
Why, she was a fetching young lass. Quite the fiery temper, though. She could be placid and calm 1 minute, and then suddenly she's spitting curses and swinging her nails at you like an animal. 'Tis a pity her mother died birthing her.
Indeed.
Following her mother's death, I'd raised Lizbeth like my own. In the end, though wasting sickness got her, I'd cared for her when she was sick and watched her wither away to nothing. Pity a young woman has to die in the spring of her life. Now she rests with her poor mother at the family mausoleum. The groundskeeper claims to have seen her recently. Oh man, seeing a ghost is never a good omen.
Where can I find this groundskeeper?
He's out in the gardens. You can get there through the kitchen.
Your knowledge is appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. New journal entry. Alright. I'm gonna read that, and I'm gonna show you something really cool. Yeah. The butler said someone broke into Elizabeth's room, perhaps we should investigate. Yeah. Evelyn's death. I spoke with a maid about Lizbeth. The sibling's mother, Evelyn, apparently died while giving birth to her, and the housekeeper filled the void of her maternal absence. She said Lizbeth was a very beautiful girl with a short, violent fuse who passed away from a wasting disease. to take note of the irony of someone who is so beautiful dying of such a heinous disease that calls for destruction of their vanity. The maid said that the groundskeeper believes to have seen Lizbeth alive. Having seen Lizbeth with my own eyes, I can only believe this maid's frightful testament. I'll go down to the kitchen and try to find my way to the gardens anyway. Oh yeah. You do see Lizbeth earlier, except I don't know how he would recognize her as Lizbeth. She looks almost like a howler. It's really crazy. Alright, so I'm going to show you some things in here, and I'm going to wrap it up for right now. New journal entry. We're going to read that next time, because I'm short on time. Yeah. Okay. Oh, hello! That was not what I wanted to show you, but that is pretty awesome. So that's normal, right? That's not. You can see the howlers there around her. Yeah, she's sort of controlling them or something. And then there's just some stuff here. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Part 2 might be out tomorrow, I'm not sure. I have class tomorrow, so I might have to wait till Friday, but I'm also leaving on Friday too. It might just be vlogs for a little bit. But next week, expect regular updates, and I'll try and catch up too. I think I got the process down for videos, even on this rinky-dink setup. So anyways, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm never going to be able to say subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Oh, and I'm going to save. Crap. Saved. Alright.